Some analysts, not all, but some of them are now waking up to the reality that Tesla is now a tech company, and this analyst in particular, Gene Munster, and to be honest, I like this guy. This guy is nice, and maybe I would love to have this guy to come on my channel so we can talk Tesla one day. Just one day. Not sure if it'll happen, but it'd be nice to have him to come on this channel and we can talk Tesla. But he goes on CNBC, and he talks about his view of the robotaxi event, because unlike other analysts, he was there. He was there to witness it. He was there to touch the product, to feel the products, right? Because there's 3 products: RoboVan, Cybercab, and the Optimist. And you know, when you're at the event, when you're there seeing all these products, I'm sure the employees are there, the FSD AI employees are there. I mean, Franz was there and others guys was there, and the other employees were there. I'm sure he asked them questions to see what it was and if there's anything coming up. I'm sure he got some inside info as well. But he goes on air and he literally said it. He literally said what I've been preaching on the channel for so many times, that Tesla is a tech company and it's undervalued. Let's take a listen, guys. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's see what he had to say and break it down.
I've got a picture of you right here at the event. It does not look like you're underwhelmed.
I was impressed, and ultimately I think that what's going on is the classic near versus the long term. And the near term, the setup was, it was all about timing. And Elon talked about 2 years before we see this, and you make the adjustment, it's 3+ years away. And also they didn't talk about that all important, more affordable Model 2. I think most people had expected that.
This part is annoying. As I mentioned so many times on this channel, this was a robotaxi event, a robotaxi product unveil, not a 25,000 compact car unveil. If that was that, they would have called it a new vehicle unveil, but they called it a robotaxi unveil. And in hindsight, the Cybercab is less than $30,000, so they kind of got what they wanted. Time frame, sure, is a bit longer, but the affordable vehicles are going to be announced in 2025. We'll see what happens in Q3 earnings call. But this was a robotaxi event. I don't understand why so many analysts were expecting something that they know they weren't going to get.
The one surprise on the RoboVan is really a non-starter, but I want to tell you that explains the down 8%, is that if you're scoring this with a level, kind of a level scoring card, this was a disappointment on that front. But why I was impressed was ultimately they are laying the groundwork around what's going to happen in autonomy. And you can debate whether it's going to be Waymo or Cruise or Tesla that's going to be the bigger and what their share is, but the world is moving to autonomy. And I think what they showed with Optimus, moving it from what I would call a prototype to a pilot, it's making some nice gains in its performance. I think it really underscores that Tesla is this is a tech company. I think that debate is over. You can debate whether or not what the growth rates are going to be, but is this a car company or a tech company? They made the statement, and that's why I was impressed.
That.
Did you guys hear that? Let's rewind that.
This is a tech company. I think that debate is over.
The debate is over. Tesla is a tech company. Woo, let's flipping go. Okay, but here's the thing. You know, as I mentioned earlier, Gene was at the event. He saw the products firsthand. He touched it. He smelt it. He sat in it. He had a chance to experience all the products: Cybercab, RoboVan, and the Optimist. And, you know, he had a chance to talk to these employees, and I'm sure he told them some stuff. But anyways, moving on. I've already said this already. Moving on. He said something very interesting. He said the world is moving to autonomy, and Tesla is laying the groundwork for autonomy. I mean, there shouldn't be any surprise. I mean, we already know that Elon is going all in on robotaxis. And when Elon goes all in on something, you don't want to bet against him, because you just don't want to bet against them. Gene also mentioned Waymo and Cruise. Sure. I'm pretty sure that once, you know, Tesla puts these robotaxis where Waymos are, they're going to have a hard time competing, because robotaxis, they're a whole lot cheaper. Way cheaper than these Waymos and all. And even Elon Musk said himself that Waymo service is expensive and slow. So that should tell you that Tesla's robotaxi is going to be fast and cheap. So just gonna, you know, put it out there. And this Neuralets AI stuff is so much cheaper than LiDAR by miles. He also talks about Optimus, how far it has come, which is impressive. Again, from nothing 3 years ago to what it is right now. It's honestly very impressive. What do you think is gonna happen in 3 years' time? Sheesh.
What did you find disappointing?
The disappointment was just on the timing of the Cybercab. The fact that it's 2 years out, I mean, you got to figure it's 3 years. Basically, an investor who is a new or a near-term Tesla investor, they really can't bank on anything that's RoboCab related if you put a 2-year time window on that. So that was a disappointment. Second, the silence was deafening around them not talking about Model 2. My sense at being at the event and talking to people at the event is that car is still clearly in the works. Timing on it, probably late 25. Elon said could be as early as late this year, but call that late 25. And they don't want to announce that car right now because it just wouldn't be good for sales of existing. So that, in hindsight, makes sense. But I think that kind of was a 1-2 combo that just left people, at least the near-term Tesla traders, scratching their head.
Now, Gene is saying that the market was disappointed because the Cybercab is 2+ years away, 3+ years away, and short-term investors can't bank on that, which I totally understand, especially coming from Elon. We saw what happened with the Cybertruck, and we saw what happened with all these, all the things that he's promised. It's always been a delay. Now, I do think that this could be a little different because, again, the Cybercab is ready. It's not a concept car. The thing can be produced. I just think they're trying to get this full self-driving thing more advanced and unsupervised so they can start this. And as Elon said, before 2027. So let's see. And I also asked you guys on X, and you guys were answering. Majority of you guys were saying yes. So it does feel different for this one. The second disappointment is that there was no mention of the affordable vehicles. I mean, Elon did say in Q2 earnings call that the first half of 2025 or even earlier, we could see this thing. We can see an unveil of it to see what it is. We'll get an update of this in Q3 earnings call. But again, guys, this was a robotaxi unveil, not an affordable car unveil. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was waiting for that one more thing. Regarding this, but I wasn't betting on it. But nonetheless, this was a robotaxi event, not an affordable car event.
Yeah, so Gene, you and I have talked about this a bunch. I mean, like if Elon sets out a timeline.
Oh boy, not this dude. He is such a Tesla bear and hater that's not even funny. But let's hear what he has to say.
You got to take the over, right? And I know you're a long-term investor, and you're always thinking about what is that next trend, whether it's Tesla or some of these other companies. A lot of people did get excited about the potential for a Model 2. They clearly did push that out. Remember back in April where the reporters was reporting that they're going to focus on robotaxi. So if you're starting to think about robotaxi a few years out, then it really is a car company right now. At least that's the way you have to value it. So my question to you is, if people are waiting for this lower end one, we know that you still have a price war with China, and not a price war with the Chinese manufacturers. We might have a really interesting issue with tariffs. Maybe that credit goes away. This company, where do margins bottom? That's the question that I have, because the 3 and the Y, they're kind of getting saturated. Last point I'll make is Elon's not doing himself any favors. I think last quarter, they dropped below 50% market share in California. So there's some issues about demand here in the U.S. also.
Bro, what? What does tariffs have to do with Tesla? They are vertically integrated. Everything is made in-house. The Giga Texas and Giga Fairmont is the most made American cars. Giga Berlin is the most made German cars. And Giga Shanghai is the most made Chinese car. Because everything's made in-house. It's not like these other car companies where they outsource the doors and then the wheels and then the engine from somewhere else. No, everything's made in that plant. What is this guy talking about? And then he also talks about EV credit going away, which, yes, I do think this may affect EV sales. But if the government does that, they are essentially killing the companies that really need it, aka the Ford and GMs and all those other guys, because Tesla doesn't need it. Tesla never needed it. Yes, it helps. It's pretty much free money, but the market is evolving to EVs. And the only companies that can't make profitable EVs that need this EV credit is the OEMs. So you really want to kill the whole entire auto industry? I don't know. The EV credit, I don't know. It's I don't know what this guy's talking about. Because if you guys recall, the EV credit was made for the OEMs. At some point, I think it was 2021 or in 2022, when Biden got elected, the EV credits, Teslas were eligible for it. But they weren't getting it. And there was a whole petition going on, if you guys remember that. So this wasn't for Tesla. This was for the other companies. And yet, he's talking about something that Tesla doesn't need, while everybody else badly needs. So, yeah, this guy's fun. He also talks about how can margins improve. Well, interest rates going down will help. In fact, that'll help big time. That's it. It's just simple as that. Interest rates going down. And he also talks about the Model 3 and Y being saturated while the Model Y is the best-selling vehicle globally still. I don't know what this guy's thinking, but he's funny. It's interesting, seriously.
I think this is an important dynamic as a longer-term investor, like you said, Dan, is that I want to be clear here, is I believe that this is a grossly undervalued AI company, and time will prove that. As far as 2025, this year is setting up, 2025 is setting up to be dicey. If I'm right that there is a lower price vehicle and there is more chatter in the marketplace, that probably will have a dampening effect on demand in the first part of the year. If I am wrong that there is no Model 2, no more affordable vehicle, then the kind of where the sweet spot of the growth market on EVs is that lower price, and it's not there. Either way you look at it, I do want to be clear, is I think that there's a reset on some of the numbers for 2025.
Grossly undervalued AI company that's going to take time to prove that. I love it. Love it. So at the end of all this, there's still a lot of speculation if there will be an affordable vehicle or vehicles sometime in 2025. If there is, it's going to increase delivery growth. Wall Street's going to love it. If there isn't, well, Wall Street's not going to love it, and they're going to bring down the stock even lower. But we do know it's coming. We do know there are affordable vehicles coming, whether it's going to be the first half of 2025 or the second half of 2025. It's coming. They are coming. And Elon did mention in Q2 earnings, and we'll get an update on this in Q3 earnings call in about 10 days time or 9 days time. But Gene says it's a dicey 2025, but we're only talking about deliveries. Hello, Tesla will have unsupervised FSD in 2 states, Texas and Cali, next year. They can essentially start robotaxis, those 60 to 80% margins software. Things that really matter, hopefully at least, right? This is essentially means robotaxi can start next year. Again, the gross margins, 60, 80%. But nah, delivery growth is more important. In due time, folks. In due time. But I'm not gonna lie, I like this guy. Gene Munster, I like this guy. I'd love to have him on the channel one day. He's a really good guy. But it was something historic a few days ago, or 4 or 5 days ago, about the robotaxi stuff. The launch, the robotaxi, the day, robovan, everything. And I made a video about it, my final thoughts and what it now means for Tesla. And if you're a Tesla investor, you're definitely gonna love that video. You guys should definitely subscribe, because I'm all into Tesla stock and I love Tesla and I love talking about Tesla. And obviously I love talking about other things. My focus right now is Tesla and I love it. I love every second of it. Get your butt a dip t-shirt, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.